back to Daily Chemistry Dosage. Here is another video that is on thermodynamics. I just want to explain some basic terms and concepts related to this topic. Let us discuss now. So before going to that, I just want to remind you what is thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is a branch of science that deals with the energy changes. That means the entire chapter deals with only energy changes. Got it? Now, according to thermodynamics point of view, what is the system and what is the surroundings? So the part of the universe which is under study is called system and the remaining portion is called surroundings. If you take a glass of water and you want to study the properties of water, now your system is water. So the part of the universe which is under study is called system and the remaining portion is called surroundings. Got it? System plus surrounding is nothing but universe. So there are different types of systems that those are open, closed and isolated. So these can be explained with the help of two terms, that is matter as well as energy. See here. So open system, closed and isolated. So in case of open system, both matter as well as energy can be exchanged with the surroundings. So if you take a glass of water or a vessel in a water in an open vessel, then both matter can be exchanged as well as energy can be exchanged with the surroundings. Then that is called open system. Okay. Now closed system. If it is closed with a lid, the beaker is closed with a lid. Now there is no exchange of matter, right? Only there is an exchange of energy. That means the system in which the energy can be exchanged but not matter is called closed system. Got it? Now, isolated system. Normally, isolated systems are very ideal in nature. They cannot be exist in the nature. So, what is an isolated system? If there is no exchange of matter as well as energy, then that is called isolated system. So, both matter as well as energy cannot be exchanged with the surroundings. That is isolated. Got it?
State and path functions. It is a very important concept. So what is the state function? A physical quantity is said to be state function if the value depends only on state but not on path. Let me take an example so that you can easily understand the concept. So here there is a person and a 3-story building. So he wants to reach the top of the building here. So he has two options. First one is by using steps, and he can go to the roof by using lift also. If he chooses this path, that means through the steps, the work is more, right? If he chooses the second path, that is through the lift, the work is less. That means the work done by the person depends upon the path which he chooses, right? So work is a path function. It is not a state function. So if you take temperature, always you calculate delta T. That means the temperature depends upon its initial as well as final value. So you can take the difference of final and initial value, that is delta T. That means it is a state function. Okay. And so temperature, volume, internal energy, they are all state functions, whereas work and heat are path functions. Got it? Next one, extensive and intensive properties. So what is an extensive property? The property which depends upon the quantity is extensive. Which is independent of the quantity, then that is intensive. So try to remember this one. That is independent of quantity means intensive. II. So you never be confused with this intensive property. So the property which is independent of the quantity, then that is intensive. Got it? That means it depends upon the nature. So coming to the examples, mass, volume are extensive and density, boiling point are intensive. Let me take an example here. If you take 100 liters of water, the boiling point is 100 degrees. If you take 1000 liters of water, then also boiling point is 100 degrees. It does not change with the quantity. That means it is independent of the quantity. That means boiling point is an intensive property. Got it? Freezing point, melting point, boiling point, everything, refractive index, density. So it does not depends upon the quantity. Now coming to the mass and volume, it depends upon the quantity. Got it? Now, so those are extensive properties. Now coming to the thermodynamics process, there are different types of process, that is isothermal, isobaric, isochoric and adiabatic. So what is an isothermal? It is very simple to remember, that is thermo means temperature. That means the process is carried out at constant temperature. That means delta T is equal to 0. And isobaric means the process carried out at constant pressure. That means delta P is equal to 0. Baro means pressure, right? And isochoric, core means volume. That means volume remains constant, that is delta V is equal to 0. And the last process, that is adiabatic process, means where there is no heat flow. Q is equal to 0. There is no heat flow in the entire process. That is adiabatic process. Got it? There is another process, that is cyclic process. So you know that what is cyclic? When the initial and final stage is same, then that is called cyclic process. Okay, next one, work and heat. So what is a work? So according to thermodynamics, especially in the chemistry part, we discuss compression as well as expansion, that is work done of a gas. Compression as well as expansion. So always we define the work in terms of compression and expansion in case of chemistry. So let us take an example, that is a gas cylinder with a piston here. So if you compress, if pressure is applied, the gas is compressed. That means it will comes here. The piston comes here. If it expands, that means the piston may go like this. This is expansion and this is compression. That means in both the cases there is a change in volume, that is called delta V. Initially here and finally it goes here. So that means delta V. So pressure into change in volume is nothing but work done. Got it? I'll explain you in detail about the work done in case of reversible as well as irreversible process in another video. So coming to the sign convention, which is very, very important. You should always remember the sign convention. So don't forget it. So work done by the system. Work done by the system means expansion. So this is expansion here. This is work is done by the system. So the work done is done by the system, that is expansion is always negative. So W is negative when gas is expanding. Now work done on the system, that is compression. So W is positive when there is a compression in gas. Got it? And the next one is heat. So heat is another mode of energy which is transferred between the system and surroundings as a result of difference in temperature. So due to the difference in temperature, the energy transfer from one system to surrounding. Okay. Then what is the symbol which is used to denote? That is Q. So always heat is denoted by a symbol Q. So coming to the sign convention here, when the heat is absorbed, then that is positive. So Q is positive when heat is absorbed. And when heat is evolved or released, then Q is negative. Got it? And last and important point, that is work and heat are not state functions. Already we discussed in the earlier slide. So work and heat are not state functions. Let us solve few questions here. So which of the following is not a state function? So always please remember, whenever delta sign is given, that means the value depends upon initial as well as final states. That means it is a state function. So it is not a state, it is a state function, and it is a state function. It is also a state function. So here W, work done, is a path function. So the question is which is not a state function. That's why work done is the answer. Now, which of the following is the properties? Following properties are intensive. So intensive means independent of quantity, independent of the amount. So work done, which is an extensive property, depends upon the quantity. So it is a extensive property. And pressure is independent of quantity. Pressure, temperature, they are not depending on the quantity. That's why they are intensive. Coming to the volume, extensive. Energy, extensive. And last one, the correct condition for the adiabatic process. I have already told you that adiabatic process means where there is no heat flow. Q is equal to 0. Got it? This is your answer. So delta P is equal to 0 means isobaric. Delta T is equal to 0, isothermal. And W is equal to 0, work done is 0. This is different thing. So coming to this concepts and few basic terms, this is your video. So if you have any doubts regarding this topic, please write in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching my video. This is Jyotsna signing off.